When I first developed the cognitive core, I had it devised under 5 items, 5 elements. Identity. No. Ethics, beliefs, your behavior, your actions, your voice, behavior, actions, voice, and perspective. As my work progressed, I realized that actions, behavior, and voice is part of the communication system. That is your defense system. And that really enforces the cognitive core and it protects the cognitive core. But it's not actually part of the cognitive core. And then I realized that as I found myself, that identity is a huge part of the cognitive processing. Identity, what we love, ethics, and beliefs. And that it is the comparison and the alignment of identity, ethics, and beliefs that form our perspective. So you have what you love, and your ethics are built off of what you love. I love to use the example of vegetarianism in myself because it is so clear and so beautiful. And it literally is like one of the first things I developed as a child. I love animals. I believe that animals are equal to us. And I ethically feel that it is wrong to eat animals because they are equal to us and I love them. Therefore, I'm a vegetarian. At 4 years old, I developed this theory. I developed this hardcore belief. My love for animals, my belief that they were and are my equal, which I still believe, and the ethics that it isn't right to eat people, because in my mind, they are people. This opinion was not popular upstate. I was the granddaughter of the man who owned the largest gun shop in central New York. I couldn't handle it. I was 8 years old and I just couldn't keep my mouth shut. I just couldn't do it because my defense system was so strong at 8 years old that I had no problems using my communication, no matter who I was talking to state my mind. So I stepped up at 8 years old and told the entire room, my grandfather, my father, my brothers, my 3 uncles, and 2 hunting strangers who were buying guns at that time, that they were wrong for killing animals and eating meat, and that I ethically believed that it was wrong and unethical of them. This opinion was not popular. The backlash that I received from that statement was so severe that I literally split personality, woke up the next morning a different person. I had suppressed my entire vegetarian ethic and belief, suppressed it in the 4th level of my subconscious mind, and wiped my own memory. That is what the subconscious mind does. And it was all done automatically to keep me safe because I felt that threatened. One of the gentlemen, one of the people there waved his gun at me and made the comment that if she were my daughter. And then on the way home, my father screamed at me for another hour. And the next morning, I woke up and I remembered nothing. My father remembered, and he took it upon himself to make sure I ate meat every day. It was extraordinary in hindsight to watch how my subconscious mind coped with this. First, I woke up with a nightmare that I would have for the rest of my life every night. Me standing in a room, looking at cloaked male figures eye to eye, and then they grew and they were screaming and they're loud and I was small, and then they shrank again and they looked me in the eye, and then they were big again and they were staring at me and screaming down at me, and then they were looking me in the eye again. Every night for 34 years I had that nightmare. It was my identity. Dreams and nightmares come from identity. It was my identity trying to remind me what I needed to remember that I had forgotten. My identity was trying to communicate to me what my subconscious mind had done to me. That's the kind of war that takes place between the subconscious mind and the identity. But there's more. Every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, my identity riddled my entire body, intuition actually, with severe pain every time I ate food. If I ate vegetables, it wasn't there. If I ate water, it wasn't there. If I ate fruit, it wasn't there. But if there was meat present, my entire body would go into massive stomach pains, joint pains, severe agony. Not physical. It was intuition screaming at me, "This violates your ethic." But I had forgotten my ethic. Subconscious mind had taken my ethic and buried it in the fourth level of my subconscious mind. And there was identity and intuition working for 34 years trying to get me to remember. It was 2022, July 2022, almost to the day last year, that I was with my partner. We were at a restaurant eating, and I had finally done enough mental work that things were shifting. I took one bite, my last bite of chicken, and the amount of stomach pain was extraordinary. I went white. I went to the bathroom. I sat on the floor, trying not to throw up, going, what is wrong with me? The next day, I was with my partner, and we were at his place. We were smoking. And a memory shifted. A memory of me being 8 years old. The day before, I got back and I just wasn't hungry. And I said, I think I'm a vegetarian. And that stomach pain, when I was eating that chicken, shifted enough of the memory so that finally the next day when I was smoking the marijuana, it surfaced, it opened up, and the subconscious mind said, you can have this memory back, because the memory finally was compatible with the frequency that I was on. The memory was finally compatible with my safety. I had to feel safe first to be a vegetarian before the subconscious mind allowed me the memory. If you can prove that you're safe, you get your memories back. If you can prove that you're safe, if you can believe that you're safe, then the subconscious mind chills out shuts the fear system off and lets you have the information you need. But you have to let the subconscious mind know that you're safe. You have to believe it. Beliefs are in your hands. That's part of the cognitive core, which actually belongs to the identity. It doesn't belong to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the is the fear system. It's the system going, are we safe? Is it safe to have this perspective? Is it safe to have these beliefs? That's all the subconscious mind cares about. That's all the subconscious mind thinks about. Is it safe to believe this? Is it safe to have this point of view? Is this point of view dangerous? That's it. That is the subconscious mind. I was finally in New York City. I was finally far, far away from my parents. Everybody in New York City has the option to choose vegan, kosher, or vegetarian. We have vegan ice cream shops all over the place here. And once I started to realize that I could be a vegetarian here and I wasn't going to be beaten for it or shot or threatened or killed, yes, I realized that it was safe to be a vegetarian. And when I realized that, my subconscious mind chilled out and said, okay, here's the memory back. And that memory came back to me. And I went, wow, I'm the 8-year-old who told a room of men that it's unethical for them to kill and eat animals. That's how strong my communication defense system was. Instantly, the nightmare stopped. 34 years, gone. I have not had it since. There's more. Immediately, I went, I'm not going to eat meat for a while. I'm going to take a week. Well, I haven't eaten meat since. It's been a year. And I've actually decreased. I don't eat fish now. I used to be like part-time pescatarian. I can't do that now. And now I'm at a point where I'm going, I probably should cut out milk and I need to go vegan. I don't know how, so I'm hesitant because that patriarchy, you have to eat meat or you'll die. That's another gaslighting bullshit patriarchy lie that they tell you. So I decided to not eat meat for a week, and I was expecting all these physical problems to occur. And then I realized that the protein found in meat is the same protein that you find when you combine rice with beans. Both of these have a protein. And when you combine rice and beans, it is the same protein found in red meat. Did you know? So this whole bullshit about, oh, you can't eat meat or you can't be a vegetarian or you'll die is bullshit. As long as you get nutrition and you're educated enough to know how nutrition works, it was extraordinary. I got to witness just how far the subconscious mind would go. The subconscious mind suppressed my vegetarian side. My subconscious mind gave me split personality, wiped my memory for 8 years. I mean, took everything prior to 8 years old. My subconscious mind changed my personality. My subconscious mind gave me a point of view that would allow me to survive in the environment I was living. And it was destroying my identity. So that by the time I was 40, I wasn't okay because I had been cannibalistically eating people for 40 years. And yes, that is exactly how it feels to me. That really fucks you up, you know? When you are not lined aligned to your frequency. When you are not aligned, the subconscious mind. So the cognitive core is this function. It is the processing of your perspective. It is where perspective, point of view, comes from. Point of view. I said earlier in the last video, love, safety, and point of view are redefined. And this really requires us to take a step back and look into this. Point of view actually means your view of life. It is the accumulation of your story. Point of view is your story. It is not right. It is not wrong. It is not unethical. It just is. It is yours, and no one can tell you what your point of view is. Abuse is when people tell you what your point of view is. That's all. That's all it is. Point of view is 100% taken away from you when you are abused. That's it. Every trauma you have endured is somebody telling you that you were not entitled to your point of view. You were told that a point of view was reality. You were told that perspective was truth. You had your point of view, and someone at some point came along and said, that is wrong. It's a point of view. There is no wrong. It is. It is. It is your personal truth. And your perspective, your point of view is solely based on 3 elements. Your identity, what you love. Your ethics, what you believe is morally right and wrong. And what you believe. Now, belief is a little bit deeper than that. It's all the data that you've accumulated, all the people who've hurt you. It's all the trust. It's all the belief. It's everything. It's all the data, all the information accumulated and processed. The belief goes into the belief part. And then the identity and the ethic swarm around the belief. And you assess it. And you go, what is this? What is this? I have what I love, and I have what I think is morally right. And then someone comes along and says, Trump is going to be president. Now, I love animals and women and women's rights and minority groups, and I love LGBTQ+. And then I look at the ethics, or lack thereof of Trump, and I go, oh, well, shit, this is going to be a problem because this person who's now running our country contradicts my ethics. What does this mean? What is this going to mean? Now I'm afraid because I have an unknown, because there is somebody who is in a position of power who is deliberately anti-me. So now I feel threatened. And my little gorgeous point of view perspective goes to work. And it decides to hate Trump because of my identity and my ethics. See how that works. So you have what you love, and you have what you morally believe is right and wrong. Now, an abuser can change your beliefs. That's gaslighting. They can change your beliefs. They can look at your perspective. They can look at your point of view, and they can contradict your point of view. That's bullshit. When you hear the words, that's bullshit, someone just told you that your point of view is bullshit. You can say, using your defense system, your communication systems, it's my point of view, asshole, and I'm entitled to it. You didn't walk in my shoes, so you're not going to have my point of view. Fuck off. That's how that's supposed to go. Well, something like that. So you have your point of view, and you have an abuser who says, that's bullshit. Now they're contradicting your point of view. Your subconscious mind, because it's stupid and archaic, doesn't like dichotomy. It goes, oh my God, dichotomy. And it immediately tries to make an adjustment to accommodate the dichotomy, to eliminate dichotomy, because it doesn't like conflict, because Conflict means danger. And its goal is to keep you safe. Is this perspective safe? The other kind of abuser will go right after what you believe. You shouldn't do that. You should let me take care of that for you. You should let me decide. You know what you should do? You should go to college. You should get a job. You know what you should do? That's beliefs. Or one of my favorites, more recent, very realistic favorites. Huh. Wow. Yeah. You're not drugged. That's just the weed you had. No, it's not, dumbass. So they can take your beliefs and they can corrupt and contaminate your beliefs. That's the second kind of abuse. The third kind of abuse is the political abuse. The kind of abuse when somebody, a father, comes along, or a husband, and says to you what you should or shouldn't ethically value. The ethical abuse is when an abuser comes along and tells you that your ethics aren't right because it contradicts their ethics. But your ethics are based off of what you love. You see how an abuser is literally attacking and targeting the core, what you love, who you are, your identity. But we're not done yet. And then you have your mother or your father who's narcissistic and mentally ill. And they tell you, I love you, sweetheart. Now I'm going to use you and drain you and make you feel like shit if you don't serve me. But I love you. Now you're attacking identity. Now you are changing the way you define love. This is what narcissism does, by the way. It changes the way you define love. Now, your identity. And suddenly there's dichotomy between what you love and what you are being shown is love. What you love, what you feel love is, and what you are being taught love is. They cannot coexist because the subconscious mind does not like dichotomy. So the solution, the subconscious mind sides with the abuser due to safety purposes and throws away identity. So now identity is taken away from you and suppressed to make way for the consistency. Because there can't be dichotomy. So identity, love is redefined. You change what you love now to reflect the situation that's going to keep you the most safe. Compliments of subconscious mind. You change your political views and your ethics to mirror a husband or a father or a brother because that's the safe thing to do. And the subconscious mind is programming everything constantly, making sure that you stay safe. Is this opinion safe? Is this political opinion safe? Is this love safe? I had a husband, first husband, who hated coffee. That piece of fucking shit felt it was okay to take away my coffee pot. You don't fuck with the coffee ceremony. So every day I would go to get my cup of coffee and he'd be there literally taking away my coffee pot. He purposely interfered with my coffee every morning. I fucking love coffee. That's where I developed the term, you don't fuck with the coffee ceremony. Oh, but he didn't like it, so I shouldn't have it, so he interfered. So every morning that I got up and I went to get my coffee, I had to go to war for my coffee. I love coffee. Now, I have a very strong defense system. Very strong defense system. And at that time, my fear was smaller than my defense system. And my love for coffee was way up here. I had a cat at that time, Tribble. Oh, my beautiful Tribble. Love of my life. Oh my God, I love Tribble. Tribble and I were trauma bonded. She and I endured the same abuse from my brother. In fact, it was me trying to save Tribble from the abuse because my brother loved torturing Tribble. So Tribble had PTSD and I had PTSD. And my first husband, the same one who interfered with the coffee ceremony, always loved to do this whole ego stroking thing of who do you love more, the cat or me? Oh, I'm going to make it very clear. I'm choosing the cat over you. Okay. This cat has been through it. She's my familiar. Dude, if I have to choose between you and the cat, you're leaving. The cat stays. Okay, so yeah, that did not go well. But the fact that he was even challenging me on my pussycat. I mean, come on, it's Tribble. Like, come on. Yeah, I had a cat named Tribble. Like, don't judge me, okay? I had a cat named Tribble. And yeah, she was with me. But that's the point. I loved what I loved. And I had a defense system to defend what I loved. And there was no interfering with that love. So I went to war over keeping my cat, over managing my defense system, over keeping my fucking coffee in my life. My second husband was terrifying. Fucking terrifying. My second husband loved to torture my children to keep me obedient. Now, well, listen. Now, I was submissive. Now, I obeyed. It took him torturing my children to get me to cooperate. When I say I was a slave, I really was. And I got to watch my subconscious mind turn up the fear, turn down the defense system, because the defense system itself led to danger. I loved my children. I prioritized my children's safety above all else, above my own safety. What would it take to keep my children safe? All right, then, let's turn down the defense system. Let's shut that off. Let's throw out the communication. Let's turn up that fear system. Let's obey. Let's get the beliefs and the ethics adjusted accordingly to mirror the husband. That way, the entire system stays safe, because I had to protect my children. And then there was this point where I was doing so much mental work that my perspective was finally shifting so much that I could actually step out of the situation, look at it, and see all the bullshit my subconscious mind had done to create this web of safety. Unnecessarily. Necessarily. But not necessary if I just took my children and left. So I bought an apartment. May of 2020, I rented an apartment. I watched my husband change overnight because I had a way out. 3 months later, May, June, July, August. Yeah, 3 months later, he kicked me out. And I was fine. I'm like, I have a place to go. I took 2 of my 3 children and I left. The third would not come with me. Stockholm Syndrome. I immediately set to work on creating a safe space and a healing home for my children and for myself. But I was terrified that my psychological programming, my subconscious mind, would pursue another slave master, because that is slavery. It will tell you you need another slave master because of the belief that's been in there, because my system was that messed up. Thank you, subconscious mind. So I came to New York. That and my intuition screamed at me, go to New York. Okay. Intuition took over. As soon as I got out of that, intuition roared and went, you're getting your ass to New York. Okay, intuition. So I followed intuition to New York City. And then it's been a slow 3-year extraction of pulling my children out of the healing home and getting them here. This is the machinations of subconscious mind, the cognitive core, and how your identity, what you love, your ethics, what you believe is right and wrong, and your beliefs all form your perspective, your point of view, and how an abuser will come in, create an unsafe place for you to have that point of view. So it will change your perspective. They will change your beliefs. They will contaminate the entire cognitive core. Now, while this vast contamination is going on, your cognitive core, your subconscious mind, is overseeing the processing. And it's sending you emotions, firing off left and right through the processing. I love coffee. I get coffee. I drink my coffee and it sends me feelings of happiness because I have my coffee. I love reading. I read a book. And because it's aligned with my identity, I get emotions firing off saying, reading this book is making you happy. Keep doing it. Emotional messaging from the subconscious core. And because I'm being bombarded with loving, fuzzy, warm feelings of happiness while I'm reading a book and drinking my coffee, it is shifting me into the frequency of love and identity and awareness, allowing me to have happiness. But if I'm reading a book that a husband doesn't like, if I'm drinking coffee that he doesn't approve of, now we have to question my own safety. Now fear system turns on, communication system shuts down, that's defense system. And then I get a new wave of emotions called fear, caution, confusion, concern, danger. My frequency changes and I shift into fear mode. Now, if I am aware of all of this, the solution is very simple. Leave. Leave. If I am consciously aware of this, then the solution is painfully obvious. Use my confidence and my defense system that's been built up to trust myself, to leave. But when you're abused, your defense system is taken away from you, and with it, your confidence. When you are abused, they take your confidence away from you and they fill you with self-doubt, which fuels the fear. You are in a scared, abusive situation always because you doubt your ability to change it, because you doubt your ability to take care of yourself without them, because you doubt yourself. So nurture yourself. Build your confidence through your defense system and communication systems, and then nurture your identity, and you can get out of it. When your conscious awareness is active, leave. Just leave.